to Sports Extraordinary here on Atlantic Television Network. It's been a wonderful time here, and we have so much to offer today. Thank you for being part of the conversation, and of course, we'll look at all that we have this evening. Ekpo Temple is my name. On our menu, we shall look at the UEFA we saw yesterday, as well as many more to come today. It is the another edition of this new season of the UEFA Champions League, and of course, what better time to really look at the happenings and to bring you insightful analysis from all the centers games played yesterday. Until then, we also have to take a look at the preparation for the National Youth Games, not forgetting how our wrestlers are preparing for the Olympic qualification in Belgrade, Serbia. Details of this and many more will be yours in RGV. This is not the script.
With the goal. Goalkeeper missed it. Offside there. He does it right here. And down goes Paul straight away. Elsewhere. Beyond he's a bit but the finishing. Oh, what a point to end it on. So now this is when they're at their best. That's when they're 12 years for this. So drink it in.
Welcome back from that short break. I did mention that this is Atlantic Sports Extraordinary, and of course, it's that time when we take you through all that you need to know ahead of what we have to offer here. Quickly, joining me this evening is Emmanuel Michael. Lovely, good to have you back.
Yeah, great to be back, guys. Very pleasant. I'm always happy to be back with you.
And then we also have Victor Oka joining us live this evening to look at some of these interactions in sports.
Yeah, thank you very much, Temple, for having me.
Okay, quickly, we'll start with the youth games. It's 2 days to the start of the 7th edition of the National Youth Games. And of course, you know that youth games will be staged in Asaba, Delta State. A massive preparation for all that we have. And of course, what better way to look at the preparations of the different teams that will be coming from the 36 states and the FCT towards that particular one. And I want to start by asking, is 2 days to the preparation for the youth games? Tinubu Okowa has come out to express that all is set, that we're prepared. He's the sports commissioner. He's also the LOC chairman, and he also doubles in different capacity. But he said that everything is ready. They are going to bring top-notch artists to come and perform in the opening and the closing ceremony. But beyond all this, I mean, there's this euphoria of getting to see the National Youth Games again come alive. Michael, let me start with you. You were in Delta State a few days ago,
yeah.
And I'm sure you understand when things like this are planned. Of course, that's where you also were. Tell us, how far has the preparation been? When you look at the planning so far, what we have heard, can it be commensurate with what we are seeing live?
Well, for me, to be honest with you, with what I saw at Delta State, because I was there about 2 weeks ago, I just came back a few days back. To be honest with you, I'm telling you first-hand information. From what I saw there was nothing that shows that this kind of big occasion is about to take place in Delta State. Because for me, I did not see a massive publicity there, which will go a whole long way to tell the people that this caliber of thing is about to take place in Delta State. Because if you take away the media out of this kind of event, I tell you, we are certainly going to see the stadium very scanty, because people don't get to know about what is happening. I happen to be the guest of one or two of their radio station out there. And as I speak with you, honestly speaking, I think majority of the population there in Delta State don't even know that this kind of magnitude event is about to take place in Delta State. So for me, I think the Commissioner of Sport, who also doubles as the chairman of the LOC, is making an ambiguous statement to the world out there. But to be truth with you, to be factual, I do not see any sign that shows that this kind of competition want to take place in Delta State, and for me, that is very bad.
When he, as an eyewitness, who just came from Delta, a few days ago, is saying that the publicity, the awareness that is expected to be created, for this competition has not been met. How far can we achieve the level of spectatorship that Tinubu Kokowa, the LOC, has really planned out if publicity, in the whole state is not well generated?
Yes, I think we'll go back to that famous proverb or saying that says, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So if the publicity is below par, then there won't be much people to watch the games at the stadiums, and the stadiums will be empty. And this National Youth Games is supposed to be an opportunity to scout and see and celebrate young talents all over the country. And when we don't get our publicity right, the stadiums will be half empty or half full. And then we would not get to, or much people will not get to celebrate these young talents that would be on show. We have young talents, young athletes coming from all over the 36 states of Nigeria, trying to, or hoping to represent Nigeria one day. So this is no small event. This is supposed to be an event that should be celebrated and also well publicized. And we have not got this right, and we see this happen a lot when you talk about sporting in Nigeria. We are very awful when it comes to publicity. So that's one key aspect that we need to improve on, and hopefully we will get that right. But they have not played a good one in this national game.
Beyond publicity, let's take a look at the euphoria now as the game gets on the way. This weekend, we hear that we're seeing 37 events at the competition, 4,000 plus, athletes or participants will be part of this particular one from across 36 states and the federal capital. And then we're going to have, others. So that's to say that Delta State in the next 1 week could be a beehive of activity. Do you think that states should go there to compete for those lengthy or prepare for those sports, or look at their area of competitive advantage?
For me, I think states should look at their areas of competitive advantage. Areas, states that are very close to around region, as State, these are areas that are riverine. I expect everyone out there at least to know how to swim pretty well. So for me, I think most of these states take the advantage of the area of competitive advantage into there, because now this is a carnival form of thing. If each state take advantage of their area of competitive advantage, it means that each state is going to produce the best talent out there. And when we are heading for a major competition, we will not find it difficult to be able to pick up or to spot out this talent from different states because of their comparative advantage. So for me, I think naturally, this is what should be obtainable. That states should avail themselves the opportunity in the areas that they have the comparative advantage to go in there and be able to do well, so that we get the best talent out of these areas. So that when we are heading for a major tournament, then we can say, yes, we can look at such states like River State, we say this is their area of competitive advantage, and this is the talent that they have in that section. We'll be able to capture them and go to other states and, fish them out. So for me, I think this should be the primary aim and purpose of state going there, not just to go there for the jamboree, not just to go there to, answer present without making any effective, your presence felt out there. So for me, this is the crux of the matter, where I think most states focus on their areas of comparative advantage. And by so doing, it gives Nigeria that latitude. It gives us that confidence that when we are heading for any other competition outside of the shores of Nigeria, then we can beat our heart and say, yes, we have capable hands in different areas going to represent us.
Of course, we have capable hands, and like you heard from Michael there, we hope that these capable hands will, show capacity. But over time, we have seen Delta State dominate the national youth games, in recent time. Whereas we have states, strong states like, Rivers, we have strong states like Edo and others, Bayelsa. I mean, this should be about talent discovery and also a way to measure state. Do you think it should be about talent discovery and a way to measure the effort of states, you know, in how far they groom sports? Would this be an indices to look at the best states and how far they develop talents in their various states?
Well, for me, if you want to look at it at that prism, I think you get it wrong. I think we should also look at generally trying to support good talents at the competition. Because we want to say, okay, this state, this is the best. A couple of years that we have now, that state have been doing pretty well. Then we are going to focus all our egg and channel our hope to that state that we know that over time they've been able to replicate good performances when we wait for major competitions such as this. Then we relax on our odds on other states that over time have not been able to produce good athletes. So for me, I think the issue should not boil down to we looking at states that are going to make a podium finish, but rather it should be about fishing out a very credible and a very raw talent that is going that we are going to groom in the future, that is going to give us a fair representation. But because if we narrow it down to say, okay, we want to look at some state that is going to make a good podium finish out there, then we are going to miss the mark. Because for me, I think talent fund should be holistic.
But in the world, when we go out for games like, I mean, watch Athletics Championship, other championship, when you see a country consistently win at that level, you just assume that this country is exceptional in this particular sport. Same thing with the Olympics. You know, when you see countries showcase strength over time or in consecutive Olympics, you can now say, okay, it seems that US, the hub of sportsmen and women, are drawn from the US because of the way they've excelled. So, I mean, I also feel that it could be a point of seeing how far some states don't give, here in Nigeria, don't look at, they don't see sports as a veritable tool that can drive national development. They don't see sports as something that can, that can yield massive unity. But they see sports as a physical entertainment and such. We are not getting the best from such states. So I think that there should also be a way to also look at state and maybe draw them. But like you said, it's very difficult to really measure because sports, these states look at the area of competitive advantage and they go in for that. But generally, what would be expectation at the end of this one-week event?
Well, I would expect really high performances. You earlier talked about Team Asaba coming up with the championship or with the victory for the every time that they've hosted this event since 2013. Team Asaba have been coming up with the victory. It would be good to see other states like home state, River State, come up with something tangible. But hopefully, we would see a lot of good performances, also lots of medals on show. You know, we are talking about young people that are hoping to one day represent Nigeria outside the shores of this country. So this is no child's play. This is something serious and should be treated as such. We'd love to see lots of medals, lots of high performances on show, especially from River State, especially from swimming, because that has brought us the most success when you talk about athletics.
Of course, that has brought us most success, and we hope to see how state will respond or how the athletes will respond. And this reminds me of the setup, how states, go about preparing their athletes and the participants, for some of these games. But we keep our finger crossed. We'll count down to the showcase comes out today, and I can tell you for sure that it will be a nice one. Our eyes, in fact, we hear that our arrival starts tomorrow. So from tomorrow, we'll start seeing how far. And then we cannot leave without talking about the economic advantage that such sporting tournaments or program brings to the state, the whole state. Some persons don't look at it from that prism, like you said. But I think that it is holistic. It's a matter of, when people come together, people will buy, they will sell. There will be tourist attraction, there will be hospitality business, all that. So it goes beyond just hosting. You that is coming from Delta State.
Definitely, it goes beyond, just hosting the competition. And that is why that publicity is very key. Because when you give much publicity to this kind of event, at least that the city will be bubbled in business activity. Because so many down to Delta State as well, and that will actually put a whole lot of money in the pocket of Delta State government. This is one angle that they are not looking at, because if they are looking at this angle, they will be able to do massive publicity to create that awareness, letting the people know that this is the kind of daily activity that is going to take place in a few days' time. And by so doing, you see market women, you see business flourish. So for me, I think it's a plus situation if they actually put their acts right by doing the needful. Because if you don't do the needful, then the people will not be aware that such massive number of people from different states is coming to Delta State, and therefore that will equally cause a shortage of some goods and services out there, because they are not prepared for such events. But if they prepare for such events because they are aware of the massive number of people that is coming to Delta State, I think they will prepare ahead by being able to put their businesses in order, and many things will go in their favor. So for me, this is the angle they need to do. They need to up their game when it has to do for their
We'll keep our finger crossed and let's see how all this will pan out. But one thing certain is that in the coming days, we'll get to see how the battle for medals will commence in Delta State. Away from that, now let's bring you some wrestling stories. And it's all about the preparation for the Olympics. Our wrestlers are in Belgrade in Serbia in the quest to pick tickets. Two-time Commonwealth medalist, gold medalist, Blessing Oburududu, is very optimistic that when she is given an opportunity to file in today, she will do everything within the ambit of the law, to get that ticket. Oduna Adokore fell short, but she still have another opportunity, to do same. Maybe in the repack check, pick a ticket to qualify. The likes of some of our wrestlers have already fallen short, but we hope that Oduna Adokore, who is going to file out in the 57 kg, will also do the needful. She was able to get past Brazilian Gulivia Olivia, but that is not enough because she lost in the semifinals, and she has a strong advantage to fight for the bronze medal. If she gets to win bronze, that is automatic qualification. But if she fails, she have one more chance of picking the ticket in the reportage. Otherwise, she may not be. If you ask me, former world champion like Oduna Adokore should not be. At this point, should not be grappling to qualify. But I hope that she will finally get to qualify. Actually.
So for me, I think listening to her, and again, coupled with the fact that two Nigerians are coming from the likes of Genesis and
Genesis, yeah.
Have fallen aside. So for me, I think they always lie on her now to give that experience. But the first time I all things being considered.
Of course, we keep our finger crossed. Tomorrow, I will give you the news of how it all played down today. We hope that Blessing Oburududu, the silver medalist at the last Olympics, will hold her own strongly, and same for Odunayo Adekoroye. We're going to quick break now. When we come back, we'll look at the UEFA Champions League, the review, the preview, the review of games yesterday, and then the review of tonight's encounter.
With the goal. Goalkeeper missed it. He does a right hand, and down goes Bullhorn straight away. Square. The up.
welcome back from that short break. This is the Atlantic Television Network, and is the second part of the show where we'll take you through happenings in football. It is the season of the UEFA Champions League and the 69th season of Europe Premier Club Football Tournament organized by the UEFA, and it is the 32nd season since it was renamed from the European Champions Club Cup to the UEFA Champions League. 32 years down the line. What is your, and I haven't seen what you saw yesterday. Before we look into the way the game was, the nitty-gritties of the games. 32 years since it was renamed from the UEFA Cup to the UEFA Champions League. You think it has lived up to its billing?
Well, for me, honestly speaking, I must tell you that laid their hand on the Holy Grail, lifting it in 2012 against Bayern Munich, when they were less fancied. I could also remember that goal, that 9-minute goal, from Didier Drogba, that nodding, that gave them the glory. Over the couple of years that have gone down the line, we've seen different teams make their mark when it has to do with the Champions League. Teams such as Manchester City, Chelsea, which I just mentioned, Barcelona, Bayern Munich. These are teams that have made their mark. And not forgetting the big boys, in quote, talking about, Real Madrid here, who have, carved a niche for themselves when it has to do with the Champions League. So for me, generally speaking, I must tell you that, the Champions League, since it was renamed 32 years down the line, has lived up to the billings. And two people who has also make a mark for themselves, talking about Lionel Messi and, Cristiano Ronaldo, who unforgettably you cannot talk about the Champions League, without, mentioning these two names, has also, bring a different, glory into the Champions League, because whenever the Champions League anthem, national anthem is being played, and, what your mind goes back is about Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, who have graciously graced, the Champions League and painted it with different records over the couple of years down the line. So for me, I think the Champions League 32 years down the line have lived up to the billings.
Now, he talked about the Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, greatest of all time. You want to argue that, but this is going to be the first time in 18 years that we're going to have UEFA Champions League. Came alive yesterday night, and there is no sight of getting to see or thinking of Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi. How does that make the UEFA Champions League glamour? The bliss that it comes with.
Yes, it will surely affect the competition, because, like you talked about rightly, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi have graced the competition and also given lots of amazing performances, lots of amazing goals, lots of amazing assists. So it's going to play in the minds of people that we're not going to see Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi in the Champions League this season, or even in Europe as a whole. But it goes to tell you that anything that has a beginning also will come to an end one day, and their time came and they took the opportunity and they ran away with it with amazing performances, giving lots of game-changing goals, lots of game-changing assists, and also won the hearts of many across Europe and also in extension all over the world. So we are going to miss them in the Champions League, but their time has come, and it's time for other people like Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland, and Marcus Rashford, and also Vinicius Jr. These names are also coming up to also grace the competition. But it's a very big shoe to fill when you talk about replacing Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi. But we are going to miss them. But it's time to move on and also look at other stars.
Of course, yesterday, we can talk about the organization, we can talk about the activities, but let's take a look at how it all played out yesterday. We saw a lot yesterday. 23 goals were scored yesterday, and we also saw 23 goals scored on the 6th of September last year, the season before this one. Could that be a coincidence that in the first match day or the first evening of the UEFA Champions League in the last two seasons, we recorded 23 goals in those nights. Is it a coincidence, Michael?
Well, for me, I would say definitely it is a coincidence, and it goes a long way to tell you how far the Champions League have come. Because instead of dropping the standard, they are raising the standard over the couple of years. You can never say each year when the Champions League anthem is being played, there is a different euphoria that comes into your mind, and each year they keep replicating. Instead of dropping the standard, they are rather upping the standard. So for me, I think this one is quite coincident. From what I see, I tell you, this season is going to be very exceptional because we see teams doing some great things, even teams that you think that they don't have anything to offer. Just like the team that played against Manchester City yesterday, who gave them the chance to, even score the first goal and even give Manchester City a good run for their money because with the standard of Manchester City, meeting such a team, you should expect them to, to blow them off. But that is not the case. They had to come from behind, to win the game. And we've seen a whole lot of things taking place. So for me, I think the same goal ratio that we saw in last season took place also. I think that is a coincidence. But also, it goes a long way to tell you that, the Champions League, is the climax of football when you talk about club football in the world. And not just Europe, but in the world. So for me, I think the standard is up.
The standard is up, and I can tell you for sure that we saw 8 games in 8 centers in different parts of Europe yesterday, from San Siro down to the Netherlands. Yeah. We saw games all over. And let's take a look at some of the games we saw. AC Milan, played a goalless draw with Newcastle. BSC Young Boys also lost at home to 1-3. It ended against RB Leipzig. Lazio at home defeated played at a 1-0 draw with Atletico Madrid. Barca crashed Antwerp 5-0. Feyenoord were 2-0 winners against Celtic. Paris Saint-Germain 2 better off than Borussia Dortmund. And I want to pause there a little while. You talked about Manchester City. And then Newcastle is another team that for 2 decades haven't been part of the UEFA Champions League. And they make that trip now to Europe. And of course, it's the biggest of them all, the UEFA Champions League. Now, yesterday, it was very tough for them, but they were able to get at least a point in that particular one back home to keep smiles on the faces of their fans.
Yes. Newcastle coming back to the Champions League after a very, very long leave of absence. It was good to see for the Newcastle fans. But, when you talk about the group that they found themselves in, very, very tough group. They're going to face teams like PSG and Dortmund. So, very, very tough group to come out of. But nonetheless, they're in the Champions League and they have a very good squad. But, when you look at that game yesterday against AC Milan, you would say AC Milan was supposed to win that game because they played a very, very good game, but they missed most of their chances. And Newcastle had a very, very poor performance. So when you put it in perspective to the other games that they are going to play against the likes of PSG and Dortmund, who just narrowly lost the league last season to Bayern Munich, it shows you the magnitude of the teams that they are going to face. So for sure, they would have to bring their A game. Eddie Howe will have to go back to the drawing board because he's not going to be playing against Luton and Bondi anymore. He'll be playing against teams like Borussia Dortmund and PSG. So they will need to bring their A game and increase whatever helps them prepare for matches. They will need to perform better. They would want to come out of that very, very tough group.
And for me, I think that, just breaking right now is that Odunoyo Adekore has qualified for the Olympics. She won her wrestling match against a Turkish counterpart, and then she's through. Congratulations to her. Anyway, back to the UEFA Champions League. We talked about games, and he talked about the how and how best to prepare for this one. Let's look at Paris Saint-Germain and Borussia Dortmund. Without Lionel Messi, without Neymar Jr., and some players that have left the side, Sergio Ramos back to Sevilla, yet they were able to win 2-0 yesterday. It looks like this is a new Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, this is a new Paris Saint-Germain, you must say, because the superstars in quote, the likes of Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, even Ramos, Neymar as well. There was a clash of ego then, because you can't be able to assemble such superstars in one team and you expect them to to perform at their maximum best. There must be one person who will always want to show this ego stuff, and that is what has been the problem of PSG over the couple of years. It's not about dishing out a heavy amount of money to get players out there, but it's about the coordination of the team, as a unit. Champions League and football has gone beyond, one man making the difference. You have to play collectively before you can say, yes, you have a formidable team, to boast of. So for me, I think this is a new phase of, PSG. They should start rebuilding, and this is what I expect over the couple of years for them to start doing, not just going for the already made. Assemble young, good players that that they can go out there into the field and give 110%, and for me, that is what they did yesterday. Kylian Mbappe scored a penalty, and Achraf Hakimi scored the second goal. It clearly tells you that even a defender can pop up and deliver when it matters most. When the chips are down, this is where you see some of these players that have the dedication and big heart for a club, to come in and deliver, and that is what we saw yesterday. So for me, I think this is a rebuilding phase of PSG, and giving them time. I mean, the new coach that just came in, talking about Luis Enrique, who has a different philosophy from previous coaches such as Mauricio Pochettino and the rest that have come into PSG and go. This is a coach that has a philosophy, and he wants to imprint that philosophy into the heart of the players. So for me, I think with time, PSG is going to gel, and when they gel, expect them to leave the Holy Grail, which has been their major problem over the couple of years.
Now, he talked about PSG, and one is poised to ask a lot of questions, as time progresses. For Kylian Mbappe, yes, he's the man, that shoulders the team now. But he has just this season, to do the magic for them. Otherwise, they should be thinking elsewhere. But we also saw other games yesterday, and one of those games we saw is the Manchester City game against, arguably a lesser side as compared to the pedigree. They missed a couple of chances. They had many shots on target. None was converted in the first half, and that becomes a history because we haven't seen a team play so well with that number of shots on target, yet fail to score a goal in the first half. And so, does it look like they're lacking something? And how is the possibility that they can defend that title this season?
Yes, when you talk about Manchester City, that first half was very horrendous from them. If you look at the statistics, it doesn't add up with the result of the first half. But then you talk about the City team, they are missing one very key man, talking about Kevin De Bruyne, who supplies Haaland with the goals. And the ratings of Haaland, if you check people who rate player performances, you check the ratings of Haaland online, was about 6 point something, and Alvarez was way around the areas of the 9s and the 10s. And talk about ratings, so it shows that they need to connect, bring back the old Haaland, and Kevin De Bruyne is a man to do that. Unfortunately, he's injured at the moment, but they would have to do with the other stars that they have. You talk about Kovacic and also Matheus Nunes coming in into the squad. They lack that creativity to supply Haaland with the balls. They surely have the spark to create chances. It's a City side. They know how to create chances, how to get into the box, how to come out of tight pockets. But supplying Haaland with the goal with the balls is another issue. And Kevin De Bruyne has been the man who has been doing that in previous times. He's injured now. Hopefully, when he comes back from injury, he will be able to supply Haaland with goals. But for now, they will need to do with the stars that they have. They just brought in Jeremy Doku, who has been doing very well, but they will need to find ways to connect with their star man, Haaland, to get the goals for them.
All right, let's move on, and let's take a look at some of the highlights. We're still looking at the highlights of games played yesterday, but we cannot forget that one that played, that game that took center stage in Italy, Lazio against Atletico de Madrid. That goal, that game was already going the way of Atletico, their away side, before that man, Lazio goalkeeper Ivan Provedel, secured a crucial point for his team. And that was the courage I saw displayed was something else. And with that now, he became the first goalkeeper to score in a Champions League match since Nigerian's Vincent Iyama did that for Hapoel Tel Aviv 13 years ago. What do you make of the courage and the 50-50 chance opinion of that he has? Anything could have happened.
Well, for me, I think it's all about taking responsibility, and this is what big players are made up of in a team. When the chips are down, you expect some of these big players, to come up strong, and that is what the keeper did yesterday. I mean, they were already down by a goal, and time is no longer on their side. It's almost done and dusted for them before they had that corner kick, and the keeper felt, well, there's nothing to lose anymore, because even if they had faltered, not scoring that goal, and there is another counter that will lead to the second goal, it wouldn't cause any damage because they were already losing the game. So I think, I mean, this kind of games, this is where you truly know the people that have big hearts, to step up when the demand arises. And this is what the keeper did, leaving his stick down to the 18-yard box of the opposite opponent, to do such a magical feat. I think for me is quite incredible.
Okay, do you think that with the exploit of Providel, getting to see him do that, we're going to see that will spark the feeling to want to see other goalkeepers want to try such feat, with 50-50 chances of scoring?
Yes, already we have been seeing it happen before, but Providel was a very special case because in his own case he got the goal. But when you talk about keepers coming out of their
I've seen Andre Onana, display such courage, but sometimes it doesn't work for him because he's been a victim of circumstances.
He might score a goal.
Someday
he might score a goal, but it shows that in life you have to take risk, and in football too, not an exception. You can't no risk, no reward. So he took the risk of going to help his teammates to convert that set piece, and it worked out for him. Sometimes it might not work out, but you still have to take the risk, and it worked out for him as they gained a very valuable point. But you have to know when to do these things and how to do them, and hopefully keepers can get the courage to do it in future games. When you talk about keepers that can do, you're talking about Alissons and the Edersons.
The Alissons of this world don't even have such courage. They can't even afford doing that. But I mean, Ivan Providel has shown goalkeepers that beyond sticking, in the middle of their goalposts, they can be more vibrant. They can be players, ballers, and that reminds me of a friend of mine who, of course, plays in Croatia. He's also a very good. He plays other than keeping, he plays, and so I understand perfectly. All right. Let's move away from that and let's take a look at the games to watch out for today. We have seen day one, and of course, still part of match day one. Let's look at games that we're going to see today. Galatasaray will play against Copenhagen. FC Bayern Munich will host Manchester United. This one seems to be the game of the moment. This one, a lot of people will keep their eyes on this one. Sevilla versus Lens. Arsenal will play against PSV Eindhoven. We have other games, to showcase to you. Real Madrid versus Union Berlin. Braga will play against Napoli. Real Sociedad versus Inter Milan. Benfica will host Salzburg. And all these games will be shown today. So let's take a look at each of these games and the talking points as expected. And we'll start with the games to watch out. Arsenal. I feel that Arsenal haven't been, part of this for a very long time. In the last, since 2016, 2017, they have not been part of the UEFA Champions League. And are they ready for tonight's game? Do they have what it takes, to be part of the big boys once more?
Well, for me, I think Arsenal has what it takes, to be part of the big boys once more, because we've seen the couple of years now what Mikel Arteta has been able to do. Has been able to instill that confidence back into the Gunners' heart, over the couple of years. Because just like you said earlier, it's over 5-6 years down the line where they last tested, the Champions League. I think some of the players might even get confused if the Champions League, anthem is being sung today, because of the fact that it's been a while, that they graced this stage. But do they have what it takes to deliver tonight? For sure. I see them, taking all 3 points tonight, because the likes of Martinelli is on fire. He has been able to up his game. We have so many good, players out there that can always come up strong and deliver for the Mikel Arteta to third side tonight. So for me, I'm giving it to Arsenal tonight.
Arsenal, some players in Arsenal like Bukayo Saka, players like Ben White, players like some of the players like Declan Rice will be making their debut in the Champions League in their life. They haven't played in the Champions League before, including the coach of the side, Mikel Arteta, as in his coaching managerial career. This is the first time he will be taking a team to the UEFA Champions League. Do you think all this will count for something tonight?
Yes, I saw a video earlier where Declan Rice he saw the Champions League ball in training for the first time. You know, he was mesmerized when he was looking at the ball. So it shows you that yes, there's a mental element to it too. But you know, this is an Arsenal side that many people would say bottled the league last season, although it was Manchester City who were the best team in the world last season. But it shows you that yeah, even Arsenal, as young as the squad is, they can, you know, compete for the big prizes like the league or the English Premier League, losing it to Manchester City, although winning them in the Community Shield. And it shows you that, yes, they have earned their spot in the Champions League, and they would want to show the world that what they can do and how much how far they've come. I know Mikel Arteta has been in charge of this Arsenal side for 3 years now. It's a project, like he has always said. You know, he has brought lots of players in that fit into his philosophy and his project, and they are doing very well. Just won Manchester United some weeks ago, and they are also on fire this season too, like they were last season. So we'll see how that plays into the Champions League. For sure, there will be a mental element to it, like you said, likes of Saka, Ben White, and even the last time Arsenal played the Champions League, their coach was still a football player. So it shows you that it's been a while, and the fans would love to see Champions League nights at Emirates once more. So for sure, it will be a nice time for the fans, but the players will also have to bring their all.
Of course, the players, what we hope to see, I mean, the anthem of the Champions League once again resonates in at the Emirates. I tell you for sure, it will be glorious to really see how this pans out. But one thing I cannot forget is that Manchester United will be traveling to the Allianz Arena. That place is like a slaughter ground. And we look at the statistics and to know that Manchester United haven't won an away game, you know, in a very long span now, leaves a lot to be bothered about. As it stands now, they have lost consecutively the last 2 games in the league. Does this portend, you know, some challenge for Eric Ten Hag and his team?
Definitely, yes. There's a whole lot of problem within the back room of Manchester United. You know, both on and off the pitch. You know, there's a whole lot of problem. You know, some section of the fans are still eager that the Glazers family should, you know, let the club, you know, go for a sale. And some quarter also are still making case on why Mason Greenwood was, you know, treated the way he was treated. Even Harry Maguire. There's a whole lot of issues. Even there's a fight between the captain and some of his key players. Last time when they lost to Brighton, it will go a long way to tell you how disorganized, how shambolic Manchester United is to this time around. And taking this kind of you know, shambolic form to a slaughter ground, to a place that looked like you know, a theater of no return for them, I think is going to spell doom for them tonight. I mean, if they are going there, Onana should be very careful on the way he comes out from his line this time around, because he might possibly need 2 or 3 baskets to go and pack some of the goals. So for me, I think tonight's game is a blockbuster game though. But from what I'm seeing Manchester United display since the league kickoff, I don't see them you know, making any strong statement against a side like Bayern Munich.
Real Madrid will play against Union Berlin. Union Berlin, we saw how they transcend from the UEFA Conference League down to the UEFA Europa Cup, now to the Champions League proper. Can they be a nightmare to 14 times winners of the UEFA Champions League at home rather, away from home?
Well, it's difficult to say that considering the performances of Real Madrid since the season started. Carlo Ancelotti has done miracles with this side, and it's difficult to see them losing this one. They have all their players complete. We're talking about their star players, Vinicius Jr., and also their number 9, Joselu, who has been doing a very good, putting in good performances this season. Hopefully, they would come up with the win. I don't see any reason why they should lose that game, but don't take anything away from Union Berlin.
And the match is already on.
The match is already on. I hope that we're going to get in the coming days, but let's see how far, if they can pull a stunt in that one. And then lastly, Braha will host Napoli. Can Victor Osimhen continue his goal-scoring exploit in the UEFA Champions League?
For me, for sure, I don't see Braha stopping Napoli this time around. With Victor Osimhen still firing from all cylinder, 3 goals from 3 games played so far. I think this will spur them up, to want to. And for the fact that last time they narrowly lost out to Milan, because of the fact that Victor Osimhen did take part in the first leg, but when he returned in the first leg, he made a very strong statement by scoring a goal. And they will still be pained by the fact that they couldn't go to the final last season. So for me, I think this will culminate, a whole lot to what they are going to give in this time around when it has to do with the Champions. So for tonight, I tip them to, get the victory.
All right. So, I mean, we are done with getting to see all that played out in the first night of the 32nd edition of the UEFA Champions League, or the 32nd season, you want to say. But tonight is another night in match day 1. And I can tell you for sure that in some of the centers, like the Emirates, the Allianz Arena, eyes will be on to really see how these games will pan out. We're going to leave without bringing you our sports extraordinaire this evening. And who else gets this merit, or who else merits to be called sports extraordinaire this evening? It goes to that man, Ivan Providel, the man who scored that equalizer, 5 minutes stoppage time. He was very courageous enough to come all the way from his post down to the open net post in Lazio there, and did the unthinkable as such, reclaiming the record, 13 years old record set by Vincent Eyama of Nigeria with Apo Tel Aviv some time ago. And this man is now the man in the lips of many, an Italian by birth, and he has shown that he has all it takes. Ekpo Temple is my name. I did a show today with Oka, and not forgetting that Oka Victor, and then Michael, who of course joined us to be part of this particular one. Tomorrow, we're back to review all that play out tonight in the UEFA Champions League. Until then, stay locked here on Atlantic Television Network. And go to our social media platforms and then check us out, and also have your say on some of the key points. Bye-bye.